I be in the zone, gazing at the walls, depressed, kicking the bone. They take it personal, but only your mind if you could understand what a nigga feeling. 41st till I die, motherfuckers. I'm still breathing you for blood, so we full bred. You ain't my dog, trying to infiltrate the clique issue. I get with you into that on a later note. We overdose every day to death, we so close. I'm trying to tell these cats, but I let them do their thing. Ready for the bad news till the phone ring. Son is dead now, anyway, over my head, seeking revenge, son, son, on your behalf, trying to laugh out the drill gun, conceal guns, play the hum, for real sons, for you motherfucking
Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream. So give me a second to check if everything is operational. So looks like it is. I have the chat open on the side, so if anyone has any questions or any chart requests, make sure to let me know in the chat. So the main topic, the main theme for today is gonna be the stock market. So definitely the stock market. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, that's better. So what I'm looking at is the S&P 500, which has just been trucking along, broke into all-time highs yesterday, and now it is just continuing. We also have the Nasdaq, same thing, broke into all-time highs, and continuing with some very nice, very bullish price action. I'm not in any of these, so I'm not in Nasdaq, I'm not in the S&P 500. The only thing I do have is some investments, some long-term investments into the S&P 500. So holding some positions as, I don't know, 5 to 10 year period, something like that. Okay. Other than that, I am watching a couple of other things. So let's get it started with the analysis. So first, let me also, I'm going to talk about my fundamental strategy. I'm going to talk about my Zentum strategy. I'm going to talk about some of the other popular pairs, other popular instruments, and we will see what is happening overall in the markets. Something I also wanted to comment on is the news. So let's also take a look at some breaking news, which is something I have been doing lately. So if you go to the Edge Finder like this, And so here's the Edge Finder. This is the fundamental analysis software that I use. You basically get a reading for everything, either a bullish, neutral, or a bearish one. But I also started heavily looking at Financial Juice website, okay? And also in Financial Juice is inside of our Discord. So if you're a Zentum trader, you get access to Financial Juice in our Discord. Some of the latest news that we had is, well, it is actually some calming down of the war between Israel and Iran. So that should be overall a risk-on environment, should be positive for the stock market, negative for the US dollar, kind of bearish for gold. So yeah, generally a risk-on approach. And now also you had breaking news today, June 27th, as you can see. I think this was an hour ago. You had the EU and US are confident that they will reach a tariff deal by the July deadline. Okay, so again, this is just market moving news and pretty important stuff. I also like to filter Forex news, see what's up with that because I'm trading a lot of Forex currency pairs. So again, the tariff deal is on the S&P 500. Then you have Putin, energy sanctions are unlikely to impact Russia, blah, blah, blah. You have a lot of stuff here. University of Michigan sentiment numbers. Okay, so I think this came a bit higher than the forecast, a bit higher than the previous number. So that is some of the stuff that I'm looking at. But let's get back to technical analysis. Let me also close this down. Let's get back to our charts. So what is happening on the charts? Well, NJ is still trucking up. NJ is still moving along quite nicely. I am in this buy setup. I have been in this for from the 22nd of May. Okay, 22nd of May. Holding it for quite a while. I took 50% off at this high. I would like to see the price reach... Why is my alert gone? Why did that happen? Oh, it's expired. Okay, let's put in a new one. So I need to put in a new one at these highs. I'll probably take all of the position off. So I'll probably close the whole position at this level. And something that's pretty cool, if I go into my MetaTrader, okay, I actually made around 2.5 or 3 euros just for holding the trade. Okay, so that has to do with swaps. Swaps are something that you either need to pay or you receive when you hold trades. So if we go to the Edge Finder, there's a nice section here with the carry trade scanner. I hope they fixed it. It wasn't working. Okay, it's fixed. So you can see if you buy these currencies, you're going to get paid the interest rate divergence. That is the difference between the interest rates. So you can see here, NZD-JPY, quite a big divergence. USD CHF is great if you have a bullish signal. So you buy and you get paid swaps. It's not much, okay? So it's not much, but if you hold the trade, depending on your account size, you can get 50 euros, extra just for holding a trade if you have an FTMO account of 100K. So just for holding a trade for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I think that's pretty cool. So swaps are pretty powerful. Again, if you go short, let's say NJ, or if you go short the US dollar CHF or US dollar yen, that could be a bit problematic. Okay, then you're getting into some problems. That's then problematic because you need to pay swaps every single day. And Wednesday is triple swaps. That means you pay for swaps for Saturday and Sunday. Okay, because on Saturday and Sunday the markets are not open, but you still need to pay swaps for holding your trade over the weekend. That happens on Wednesday. So NJ, that is what I'm doing right now. I'm holding this trade and it's in profit. I'm just monitoring it. Also trailing the position a little bit. I have my stop loss set at this level right now. If we do continue up a bit more, continue moving up, I will just keep trailing it below these swing lows on the daily chart. Next one that I have is the Nasdaq. Nasdaq has been not problematic. It has been doing really well. It has been going up quite a lot. So it had a lot of activity. but I never got a pullback to get in on a buy setup, unfortunately. So I was looking for pullbacks right here at this level, even lower. I was looking for some pullbacks kind of at this level. Now I'm looking for pullbacks at this level of support. But you can see each time price moved up, the pullbacks were minimal. Again, a little bit. Now I would need quite a big pullback to actually get in. So price has been moving away without me, and this bullish momentum looks very strong. I think this can continue for quite a bit more. You know, maybe a little bit of a pause, and then we can continue, especially since we just broken out of the all-time highs. I think that is pretty powerful. My game plan, well, I don't really want to buy at the highs. I don't really want to get in right here. I would prefer to see a bit of a pullback. So if the price does pull back a little bit, I don't know, maybe I'll look at this level of support. You know, maybe I'll consider that. Let's move this a bit higher. So if the price can pull back to here, let's say retest. So you have a break of the high and then a retest of the high. That could be good. That could be nice to get in on some buy setups. Also, something that I'm watching is the 20 EMA. The 20 EMA that I have here. What the price likes to do is it likes to push up, retrace to the 20 EMA. Push up, possibly touch the 20 EMA. You can see here, pull back to the 20, pull back to the 20, pull back to the 20. Here, riding that 20 EMA. So it's good to get in around the 20 EMA. It's kind of bad to buy the highs. Your risk to reward is pretty bad as well, because if you're doing this, let's say you're putting your stop loss below this level of support, that's not really a great risk to reward. But if you get in lower, if you manage to get in around this level, well, your stop loss becomes smaller and your profit potential becomes bigger. You're getting in at a lower level, you're getting in at a better level. So that's kind of what you want to strive to do. That is what you want to be looking at. That is what you want to do. So it is on the watch list here, and I'm looking actively for buy setups. I would like a pullback. So I do need to see a pullback. Silver is my favorite instrument right now, I would say. Definitely my favorite instrument right now. I missed my buy setup. So if I zoom in a little bit on the 1 hour chart, we had a liquidity sweep entry, which is an entry that we teach at Zentum Trading, but I started using it for this fundamental strategy that I'm developing. The liquidity sweep entry is basically on the 1 hour chart, you get a flat range, you get this bottom part of the range, you get the top of the range right there, and then you're betting that the price will bounce off of these levels once it reaches these extremes. Okay, that's your bet. So this is a good liquidity sweep right here. This was my entry. So it happened on Tuesday. Sorry, it happened on Tuesday at 4 p.m. my time. I missed it, wasn't present at the charts there, and then price just exploded up without me. I do have a pending buy limit at this level. I would like to get in if the price does pull back. So let me actually move this. Let's move this a bit lower or a bit more to the right. Let's do it like this. So if the price does decide to pull back in the next week, I'll be pretty happy to get in. Okay, I'll be pretty happy to get in. Will that happen? Well, it could. It could happen. We could range around right there for a bit longer, possibly consolidate a bit. So we could get something like this happen, range around. One reason why that would be a bit problematic is I would need to pay swaps. So swaps are kind of expensive for silver, for holding silver longs. And every single day I would need to pay those swaps. That's not my favorite thing in the world, but I'm willing to take that risk because this is such a nice opportunity in my opinion. If you haven't watched my previous live streams, I have been talking about this silver trade for quite a while now. So the reason why I like it so much is, let's check the fundamentals. Hey Sifa, what's up? I will take a look at your comment right after silver. So top setups. If we go to silver, just to check on the fundamentals, bullish. You're getting a bullish reading. You're getting some good fundamental data. COTS, commitment of traders, unfortunately, they're a bit neutral. Retail is short, so I would like to be long. Seasonality is good. So Edgefinder likes it. If we check on the economies of the world, most of the economies are neutral / bearish. Okay, so this is the average economic surprise score, looks at all the data. If the data is coming out lower than expected, that's bullish for, let's say, silver and gold. If it's coming better than expected, then that's bearish for silver and gold. Okay, so yeah. Also, we had a breakout on the daily chart. A very nice breakout right here with quite a lot of force. We had a flat range, but now we have broken out. That's a bullish sign. Also, silver likes to follow gold. Gold already exploded to the upside with some very nice momentum. You know, this was a huge move. If you zoom out on gold, we have been just crushing it to the upside. 217% since 2015. Okay, let's not look at that. Let's look at the last. Let's look at it from 22. So 100% gain. That's amazing. Silver hasn't had such a huge gain, but it could. So silver had some upside. Wait, let's make this a bit larger. Silver had some upside, but now it kind of stagnated, and now it broke out. So that's great. That's a bullish sign. I like silver much more than I like gold. Even though we are in a risk-on environment, which is bearish for gold and silver, I would still like to get in because technical analysis is so good with this trade. Technical analysis is looking very strong, very good. So I'll be pretty happy to take the risk at this point in time. So CFO asks, what percentage have you made this week, if any? Considering the global conflict, if you decided to take any trades this week. This week, I did not take any trades. Last week, I had 2 losses. I had a loss on the DAX. Oh no. It just took me out and now it's flying in profit, or it would be flying in profit. So just timed it a bit, let's say bad. My timing was a little bit off. This is a bit painful to watch, but that's okay. Also the pound dollar, GBP USD, OAN, the data also got taken out from this one and now it's flying up. So my stop loss was just a little bit too tight, a little bit too restrictive, and yeah, unfortunately got taken out. With the whole drama between Israel and Iran, the dollar gained a lot of value, and that kind of took me out of my positions. But it is what it is. It's part of the game, part of the probabilities. My crying won't make this trade be a profitable one, so I can only go to the next trade and do my thing, you know, follow my plan. I did have some amazing gold trades, so luck is sometimes on your side, sometimes it is not. At the end of the year, it should all even out. So the probabilities should even out. You should get very lucky on some months, and you should get very unlucky on some other months. So the net profit after 12 months should reflect a balance between being lucky with your strategy and unlucky with your strategy. My focus for this week has been silver. I've been trying to get in on this trade. I missed my initial entry. I missed the initial entry with the sweep right here on the close of this candle. Trying to re-enter now, or trying to enter right now into a trade. Things are going okay, possibly. We could drop a little bit more. We could see silver dropping a little bit more. So we shall see. We shall see what will happen. If you're wondering, should you stay out of any trades when there is the global conflict and global drama? So we had the Israel and Iran war or conflict It lasted for a week or 2 weeks. It's still very hot, I would say. You know, rockets could be flying tomorrow and people would not be surprised. There was a ceasefire, but anything can happen. So that's still a pretty volatile event. I personally don't care. I traded through that. So got stopped out of some positions, looked to enter some other positions. For me, it was just a normal day in the markets. You know, just a normal day in the markets. One thing that I do know is that the DXY had a bit of a bullish reaction on that, on the Israel and Iran drama, a bit of a bullish reaction, which was adverse for my positions, but that's okay. And the S&P had a little bit of a negative reaction, just a little bit, and now it bounced off completely. So the actual impact in the markets from the global conflict is minimal. Very, very minimal. I mean, very small pullback, explosion up, DXY. DXY had a very small pullback and then an explosion to the downside, and I think we're going to get more weakness. So I do think on the DXY we could get a lot more weakness to the downside. And yeah, so let me check the Edge Finder if there are any interesting top setups. Let's see that. Let's also see the stream. Okay. If you guys have any chart requests, make sure to put it in the chat. Let me quickly run through the top setups. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, Nikkei, China 50 gold, EJ, silver, NJ, DAX. DAX is bullish again. Okay, cool. We have quite a lot of stuff that is bullish. Quite a lot of bullish stuff. So let's take a look at those things. Let's close this down. For me, the main ones are these three, okay? And the flag, so green flag means I have a trade running. No flag means I'm still waiting for a pullback. Yellow flag means I have a pending order set or I'm actively looking for an entry. And that's for silver right now. So I want to go through the dollar, which I just mentioned, but it is important. I would say it's pretty important. JXY also is kind of flat, but the dollar index is something that a lot of investors have been watching in the last 2 weeks. Okay. So this was a crucial level, very, very important level right here. And why is it important? Well, this index measures the relative strength of the dollar to other currencies. So if this thing goes down, that could be bearish, or if this thing goes up, if the dollar gains value, that's actually bearish for stocks, bearish for euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar, gold. Yeah, it's bearish for gold, could be bearish for gold. Bitcoin could be bearish for Bitcoin as well. Wow, Bitcoin made a nice recovery. Damn. Okay, let's go Bitcoin. Also took a loss on Bitcoin up there, but that's okay. Oh, let's hide that. I don't want to see it. But that's the theme for the dollar. You know, this chart impacts every single chart. Because it's now dropping, we have broke the key level. We actually closed below it on the daily chart. We're getting some very bearish price action, in my opinion. The dollar is still very weak. We have a trend line right there, which just could not be broken. So it's being respected every single time. I would say more weakness for the dollar could be expected. You know, I would say that this chart is going to go down more. To where, you may be wondering, where can this chart go? Well, if you take a look at the monthly, we can take a look at some support levels. I would say here, this swing low, but this one is much more powerful. So we could go down quite a lot, you know. Yeah, we could drop 10% without an issue to this level. I would say it's pretty possible. If you are saying, no, it's not possible, that's a major drop in the dollar, that couldn't happen, well, look what happened here. You know, look what happened in 2002, let's say, for example. minus 40% drop in this chart, okay, in the DXY chart. Look what happened here from 1980s, huge push up. Then from 85 to 88, V reversal, 46% drop. Right, so this is nothing. If it does drop to this level, it's nothing in grand scheme of things. You know, these types of movements have been happening for quite a long time. It's completely normal in the markets for these types of moves to happen. One hot asset is also US oil. US oil was kind of the most interesting asset in the last 2 weeks. Definitely the most interesting one. Lots of volatility. In my opinion, very hard to trade. You know, how can you time these things? How can you know about these explosions and then these sudden drops? See, huge explosion up on the news of Israel and Iran war. And then you have a huge meltdown on the news of a potential ceasefire, calming down on news that Iran is going to continue dealing with China in terms of oil. So very volatile, very tough to trade. I'm not sure how I would be able to trade this one. So I'm leaving this one alone. Just it's too volatile. There's a lot of movement up, a lot of movement down. Yeah, huge wick on the top. This fat red candle. This was an explosion of 20%. Will we feel this on the gas station? I don't think so. It was so quick, so rapid that I don't think it's even calculated in the actual price at the gas station. We are back now at these levels, which was the level where we were at before the whole Israel and Iran war thing. So we're back at the previous levels, you could say. I think we're just going to range around here. That's my forecast for US oil. If anyone is wondering, I think we could just range around this level, be kind of passive, not move up, not move down, unless you get a massive catalyst. Unless the war heats up again, unless you get a different catalyst, I don't think we're going to go much lower. I don't think we're going to drop. I think that is the lowest possible outcome. Okay, lowest possible outcome is that we reach these levels around 55 to 50. At these levels, a lot of companies start losing money. A lot of them are then kind of out of business, you could say, as well. They have major financial issues if we go this low. And it's in their best interest to keep the oil prices stable, to keep them a bit higher than this 50 to 60 level. So a range-bound market could be expected in the next few months if you don't get a catalyst. If you do get a catalyst, well then, no one knows what happens. So oil, very problematic. I don't focus on it. I haven't traded it. And I'm looking at some other things. Okay, I'm looking at some other things. So currencies, we can run through the currencies. But before that, German 40 or the DAX, I could actually try to look for a buy setup right now. Okay, it looks interesting, looks good. I may try to re-enter. So as I did show you, I took a loss right there. Took a loss. But this is not bad to try to re-enter. Let me check the fundamentals. DAX. I think we're getting a bullish reading. Yeah, okay, bullish reading. Numbers are not looking that healthy. EU economic heat map for stocks. 60% of the data is coming better than expected. I don't know. Let's see the Dow Jones. Okay, let's see the Russell. Neutral. Let's see the US stock market. It's even worse. The US stock market is even worse than the European one in terms of the edge finder. But I do like this. Let me move the DAX on my watch list, on my active watch list. Now, I wouldn't be looking for buy setups exactly here. I would like to see a bit of a pullback first. So a bit of a pullback, possibly to here, no, to this level or to this level, to touch the 20 EMA again. But I do think we could go up. DAX has been doing pretty well, looking pretty strong from the peak to trough, or from the trough to the peak. I think that you would say it like that. 30% up, you know, beating the Nasdaq, beating the S&P 500, or yeah, beating the S&P 500. Very healthy. Also, Europe is spending more and more money for its defense. So companies like Rheinmetall have exploded up. This is a company that produces tanks, I believe, and weapons. So exploding up because of the massive spending from the European Union. The macroeconomic situation is that Europe has decided to spend money into its military industrial complex. The US has decided not to cover the ass of the European Union, you know, because what the European Union counted on was they always have the US. If anything happens, the US has a lot of weapons, a lot of money. They will be the first ones to help them. They are a major ally of the EU. Now with Trump is not that keen on helping the EU. So Trump said, look guys, you should have your own military, have your own weapons, have your own defense spending. You should spend your own money into defending your country. And that is what's actually happening. European Union has decided to kind of listen to Trump, you could say, and do their own thing in terms of the military. So spend their own money to build their own military. And companies like Rheinmetall and other ones should go up in value over time. It should be reflected in the DAX, which is the German stock market index, should be reflected here in the price. And we could see all-time highs again. You know, we had all-time highs back in June. Now it is actually 5th of June. Now it's the 27th of June. In July or August, we could very easily get back there. You know, very easily get back there because of that spending, because of good economic data. Perhaps we'll have good economic data. If we also check what is going on with the interest rates, let me see that. If we go to here, ECB interest rate. Okay, let's see, is it trending lower? Yeah, it's trending lower. Okay, starting to trend lower. They may cut interest rates more. Not sure, haven't been following this too closely, but this is good. You know, lower interest rates means the stock market should benefit. So the stock market should benefit from lower interest rates. We also have a lower interest rate than the United States, which is very cool. Also, there's the breaking news part that I forgot. If we go to market moving stuff, okay, price of oil again dropped lower. What? Okay, that's funny. But EU and US are confident they will reach tariff deal by the July deadline. Okay, now that made the S&P go up, but not just the S&P. It also made the DAX go up. So that's 1637. If we go to the 1 hour chart, 1637. Yeah, it's there. It's definitely there. You know, this candle, massive explosion up. That's breaking news for you. That's bullish for the DAX. A US-EU trade deal would be bullish for the DAX, and bullish for the S&P 500. So bullish for both countries. That's another reason why I'm looking for buy setups. That's great. It's great. Okay. So looking for buy setups here. Other than the DAX, what else do we have? I need to add in some more indices right there. So we can add in, let's say, US 30 from IC markets. We can add in US 2000, which should be the Russell. IC markets, yeah, let's do that. Indices, US 30, US 2000, that's the Russell. So those are some of the other indices that I can take a look at. Now, what I do like about the US 30 and the US 2000 is I like that the Nasdaq and the S&P are already at the all-time highs. You know, they already had the majority of the move. But US 30 and the Russell still have some room to go up. We are still quite a few points away from the all-time highs. So there is space for us to go around 3% on US 30. Whoop. Russell, wow, Russell. 13%, these are the kind of small cap stocks of the United States, US 2000. So Russell can still go up quite a lot. Was this from tariffs? No, we had the drop from, let's say, from November 24. And then in January and February, we had another drop. So potentially you could get a catch-up trade. You could get the US 30 and the US 2000 catching up to the S&P, catching up to the Nasdaq. That could be interesting. Quick glance on the fundamentals. Come on. Edge Finder. Where's the Edge Finder? Here. Let's see it. So the Dow Jones, that's the US 30. If you guys didn't know, bullish. Russell is the US 2000, neutral. Why the difference though? Dow Jones, let's see that. Okay, so it is because of the commitment of traders. Okay, commitment of traders. Okay, so actually institutional money looks to be bullish on the Dow, but not on the Russell. Okay, not on the Russell. So this could be a good play. Definitely could. I had my alert set for the break of this level. Looking for a retest. I would like to see price pull back first, and then I would look for some buy setups. Okay, let's see. The camera doesn't seem to be working. Did the camera freeze? Okay, let's try to fix that. Okay. Thank you, Mate. Video capture, remove. Add. Video capture device. Okay. So, like this. Let me just make it a bit smaller. If I can do it. Transform. Let's crop a bit to the left. 15. Nah. 150. Nope. 200. Okay, this is good. Okay, we're back. Cool. Now it's working. So, US 30 might be a good play. Let me actually add this as well. Let's add it to the watch list. I did not take a trade on the US 30. I'm looking at this level for potential buys. You know, it's gonna be a tie between the Nasdaq and the US 30. So whichever one pulls back first, I'll look to get in on some buy setups. Or maybe I'll also get in. Maybe I'll take like 0.5% per trade, risk per trade on the US 30 right here. Or maybe another position on the Nasdaq. We'll see. Let's put it on the watch list. So let's keep it here on the watch list. Gold. I know a lot of you guys want to see gold. So gold is the next one on the list. Let's see what we have for gold. Gold for me, it's a bit flat here in this area. A little bit flat if we look at the fundamentals. Gold. very bullish reading. Okay, cool. It's great. Very bullish reading. Trend line, possible trend line. Right here. Okay, possible trend line right there. We're just a little bit range bound, a little bit flat here in this area. I don't like that. I would like to see us break out higher first. I know I've watched Trader Nick and he was looking to potentially buy at some of these support levels, but I don't think he's looking at it anymore. I personally would prefer to see gold breakout. Silver is a better buy. Definitely looking for buy setups on silver right now. Gold, I just don't see a big case for gold going up. I mean, we're in a risk-on environment right now. You have stocks roaring to the upside, exploding up. You have the dollar crashing lower. So gold, I don't see a major reason. If we get a catalyst, if we get some sort of drama, if we get some sort of a crisis, some sort of a war, then gold could definitely go to the upside. But as far as current price action looks, yeah, I'm a bit flat, I'm a bit range bound. I don't see a major case for gold going up. I do have the alert set, as you can see here, so I do have an alert. That means if we do break out higher, I will consider some buy setups, okay, if that happens. So if the alert gets triggered, I'll look to get in. My advice for you guys is I think silver is better. I think silver is a much better play. Fundamentals for silver, let's take a look. Bullish, okay, bullish as well. So that's my game plan in terms of the metals. I do have platinum on here. I could also add copper. Copper, we do have IC markets. Do we have IC markets? I don't think you can trade copper on IC markets. Anyway, I'm using IC markets, so let's do FXCM. But I don't really trade platinum or copper. Platinum had a huge explosion up. Let me see if there's a ticker for platinum for IC markets. No, there isn't. Huge explosion up. Massive appreciation. 37% from 20th of May. I don't know why. I haven't been closely watching it. Not sure what is happening. We had a massive range-bound market, looks like, for the last few years, and then now just an explosion up happened. So interesting stuff. Copper has been also pretty flat and corrective right here. Not really moving anywhere. Not really tradable in terms of trend trading. Bitcoin is another interesting one. So Bitcoin, I'm closely watching. I had a buy setup on Bitcoin. So I did have a buy setup right here, or I took a buy trade. It was a loss right here. I can make it a little bit bigger. No, I locked it. Yeah, took a buy setup, got taken out. And right now looking for a bit more bullish price action. Let's see the fundamentals. What are the fundamentals showing for Bitcoin? Neutral. Okay, kind of neutral. Institutional money is neutral. Seasonality is good, but it's mixed. Pretty mixed stuff. Pretty mixed numbers. I do like that we're very close to the all-time highs. Bitcoin usually likes to follow the Nasdaq. So if the Nasdaq shoots up, Bitcoin likes to go up as well. It can act as a technology stock. Okay, as a technology stock out of the US. If we zoom out, again, just massive uptrends. You don't want to be short Bitcoin. You definitely don't. We did have some price stability. Okay, some price stability, which means the price, the moves up and the moves down have been getting more stable. So they have been becoming easier to trade. because before you had these massive explosions up, you know, as you can see here, massive explosion up, massive drop, massive up, massive move up, massive drop. Right now it's getting a little bit more stable. So yes, the opportunity is a bit less. You can no longer buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin and expect to be a billionaire in like 10 years. That's not going to happen. I think Bitcoin, if it does go up in the next 10 years, I think we can reach levels like maybe 250, 300, you know, in the next 10 years. I think that could happen, but I don't think we're going to go to like 1 million. Because a lot of people know about Bitcoin. The people that wanted to invest have mostly invested. So it would take a lot more people to learn about Bitcoin and to decide to put their money into Bitcoin. And it would also probably take for Bitcoin to become a real recognized currency that banks potentially use, that possibly replaces some other currencies, some Forex currencies. You know, there's talk about Bitcoin replacing the dollar. Is that going to happen? No one knows, but for now, it's definitely not the case. I do like the use case of Bitcoin. If you ever did a crypto transfer, it's faster, cheaper, more efficient, easier. There's less numbers to put in. So I really like it. I think Bitcoin is much better than doing a bank transfer. You know, I think it's far more efficient than doing a bank transfer. Let me just check if the camera is doing well. Yeah, camera is working. Okay. So we're hovering at the all-time highs. We're hovering there. Will we go up? Will we go down? I'm not sure. If you look at technical analysis, we are forming an inverse head and shoulders, which is the left shoulder, head, right shoulder right there. It's a bullish pattern. You would expect the price to shoot to the upside. Okay, you would expect the price to go up. It's also the same thing as a cup, and a handle. Okay, cup and handle pattern. Same thing. Same thing as also a V reversal and the range pattern. All of them are bullish. For me to take any trades, I would prefer to see a bit more bullish price action. Maybe a breakout of some of these levels. So a bit more bullish momentum. MBF, you want to see Euro JPY. Okay, sure, no worries. So after Bitcoin, I'll do Euro JPY. I would like to see a breakout of these levels. And then some pullbacks and then some potential buy setups. That would be the game plan for me. Also, I would like to see the fundamentals be a bit more bullish. Currently, Edgefinder reading is neutral. So I would like to see a bit more bullish fundamentals come out. I think we could just be sideways here for the next few weeks, maybe next few months. We could be accumulating positions. We could be just flat right here. That's why I would like to see a breakout to the upside. So we'll see. I have some more interesting stuff I want to get into, such as Nasdaq, silver, DAX, US 30. I think that is better. That has more potential. Currently has more potential than Bitcoin. EJ, Euro JPY. So for this one, if we're starting with a daily chart, first quick Edgefinder reading Euro JPY. Bullish currently, okay, bullish. In terms of economies, Europe economy, it's not doing that well. Japan, 50. Stocks pretty good for Nikkei. Forgot to add that one. Nikkei. Can I trade it on IC markets? Hopefully I can. Can I though? Let's see, Japan, Jap 225. Let's do it like this. Nikkei. IG, or no, let's do Vantage, so that I can analyze it as an indice. Oh, Nikkei is actually looking pretty good right now. Yeah, EJ looking bullish here on the daily. Broke out of this swing high on the 1 hour chart. It had some nice moves. This was for the Zentum strategy. So if you guys are not aware of the Zentum strategy, 1 hour chart, pure price action, no news, no indicators, just the candles, just the charts. I was definitely looking for some entry setups right here. Okay, very nice, very bullish price action. Here as well. Okay, looking okay. Here looks interesting. So the 1 hour is nice. It kind of started to stagnate a bit. If you want my reading, I'm bullish. Okay, I'm bullish on the daily. This looks healthy. Am I looking for buy setups in terms of the fundamental strategy? This one, no, not really currently. So I know we're getting a bullish reading for EJ, but currently I am not actively looking for buy setups. Should I be looking for buy setups? Well, that's a different question. Should I be looking at this? Let me see this again. So if we go to EJ, it is bullish. CPC, so you want to see GBP JPY? Okay, sure. Right after EJ. I'm not fully convinced about the fundamentals. Yeah, it's bullish. I would like to see a bit of a higher score overall. You know, some of these numbers be a bit more bullish. But the price action is good. The price action on the daily chart is good. You have quite a lot of room for the price to go up, for the price to appreciate in value. All the way to this high, okay? There's quite a lot of room. So you could see the price go up all the way to this high. How much in percentage terms is that? 3.38, okay? 3.38%. That could be done. So I'm not looking actively for buy setups right now. If I was, I would like to see price pull back a little bit. You know, print an entry on the 1 hour chart. So this is the 1 hour, by the way. This is for the fundamental strategy, not for the Zentum strategy. Pull back a little bit and then like a buy setup. That could work. There was an entry right there for the Zentum strategy, which I could cover that a bit later. But for now, let's focus on the fundamental strategy. So looks interesting. There is this small level of support where you could wait for the price to hit this level and then potentially bounce off of that level. So yeah, if you're looking for buy setups, it's interesting. It doesn't look bad. Actually looks quite good. GBP JPY. Moving up on the daily, definitely moving up. Let's see the fundamentals. JPY neutral. Okay, fundamentals are neutral. UK stock market, yeah, no worries, MBF. UK stock market, or not stock market, but UK 50-50. Japan is 50-50. Yeah, fundamentals are not great. Fundamentals are not great for GBP JPY. If you're a purely technical analysis trader, this is in an uptrend on the daily chart. The 1 hour chart seems to be kind of struggling to go up, breaking those highs and retracing. That couldn't really move higher, or can't really move higher. So yeah, I think this is pretty good in terms of technical analysis. But in terms of fundamental analysis, could be better. Could be better in terms of fundamentals. You have some news coming up. Nothing that is really important. Not my favorite. Okay. Currently, also, if you look at Japanese yen index of the Japanese yen strength, Same thing as the DXY, just for the Japanese yen. Kind of flat. Okay, it's kind of flat. I can't really get a bias. If I had to give you a bias, it would be more of a bearish one, if I'm being honest. Would expect this chart to go down because of the current risk on environment. And also, I think for some reason, the Bank of Japan is dovish, which means bearish for the underlying currency. So if I had to give you a reading, it would be bullish for GBP/JPY. It would be bullish. I do think EJ is a better trade if you want to buy it. You know, EJ for me looks healthier, stronger. Fundamentals look better for EJ. Okay, fundamentals look better for EJ. So yeah, that's kind of it. Quick glance on the Nikkei. This is the Japanese stock market, by the way. Fundamentals, let's take a look at quite strong in terms of fundamentals, 87.5%. Well, that's really good. Let's see top setups, history. Let's see the Nikkei. I'm now looking at how the fundamentals have developed in the last few days. Okay, so ever since, let's say, 16th of June, we have been bullish. Interesting. 16th of June. Ever since here, we have been bullish in terms of fundamentals. Had this V reversal, corrected all the way back up, zooming out, getting close to the all-time high. I don't think I can buy the Nikkei because I don't think I have it on IC markets, so I'm limited in those terms, but I would be bullish. Would I be buying it straight here on the top? Of course not. Okay. I definitely would not be a buyer straight here on the top. I would definitely like to see price pull back a bit to this, possibly to this level of support. I would like to see the price pull back, and then I would look for buy setups. I think it's crazy to be buying here on the top, right on the top. Especially if you're aiming for the high, you need to have a big stop loss. Much better to wait for a bit of a pullback. Look at what happens to the risk to reward. You can have a tighter stop loss. You can risk less, or not risk less, but you could have a better risk to reward. Interesting chart. Interesting chart. Quick glance through 6 Forex pairs. Okay. Some dollar pairs, euro dollar, very bullish. Breaking out. I don't think I had a trade. I didn't have a trade on that. I had a trade on the pound dollar. All of them are bullish because the DXY has broken lower. Okay, DXY has dropped heavily lower, broke this key level. So the key support level has been broken. I would expect the price to continue going down a bit more. So yeah, I would expect these pairs to continue going up. Maybe pull back a little bit. Pull back a little bit. And then go up. I'm bullish. Bullish on these three. Aussie dollar is a bit more flat when compared to pound dollar and euro dollar. Let's see why. Why is that? Fundamentals. Let's see top setups. AUD USD. Okay, actually getting a bullish reading in terms of the history. The USD. Yeah, all over the place. Something is not right with this one. AU, Australia. Okay, Australia. Quite bad. Yeah, quite bearish for the Aussie and for the stock market. That makes sense why we are a bit flat. That makes sense for this flat price action. So fundamentally, euro dollar and the pound dollar are doing pretty well. Fundamentally, Aussie dollar is not doing so well. That's why you can see these ones shooting higher with a lot of force. Aussie dollar, not so much. Okay, Aussie dollar, not so much. In terms of the JPY pairs, the best one for sure is going to be EJ. EJ definitely had the best price action. Also, for any of you Zentum traders that are watching this or that will maybe watch the recording, there was a nice break and retest. I personally didn't take it because the break was not big enough. Right here. Okay, here is the break and retest. We had some nice bullish momentum. Push, little pullback, break of the high with force. I just think this break was a little bit too weak. Okay, I think the break was a little bit too weak, so I did not want to get in. But you could have gotten in that. Let's say 20 pip stop. And it would be kind of a break-even trade. Would be a bit flat. You would have reduced your risks. Or this is purely for the Zentum strategy. I mean, EJ just had the best movement. A lot of bullish momentum. That also has to do with fundamentals, if I'm not mistaken, because of the European economy. Maybe top setups history. Let's look at Euro JPY. And okay, we didn't really have bullish fundamentals, but we definitely had a breakout. So yeah, EJ, as I mentioned, good to go up. AJ a bit flat right here, not doing much. NJ is going to be the same thing, a bit flat as well. So AJ and NJ looking a bit flat. You can also see this huge correction that EJ had. Happened on pretty much every Forex pair. Massive sell-off, and EJ is almost back up to where it started, while AJ and NJ just cannot get a break. They're still in this lower half. Still pretty weak. Still in this lower half. So yeah, that's interesting for the currencies. That's interesting for the currency market. I do have an NJ buy trade, but again, I got in at a quite good level. So I got in quite low, and I'm not targeting these highs. I just want to see the price go up to here. So I just want to see the price go up a little bit more. In terms of being bearish on the yen, yes, overall you can say I'm bearish on the yen. So bearish on the dollar, very bearish on the dollar actually. And I'm bearish on the yen. So we're now approaching the end of the stream. If you guys have any questions, any last minute requests, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna browse through this, see if I missed anything. Ethereum, flat right here. We had this huge move up, but then we just went really flat. Bitcoin hasn't been that active either, so makes sense that Ethereum hasn't had a huge move. VIX is going lower, volatility is going down, okay? So volatility is definitely going down, which is bullish for the S&P. When the volatility goes down, usually S&P goes up. When the S&P drops down heavily, usually the VIX goes up. Usually the VIX explodes like this. You know, massive explosion on the VIX. On the VIX is bearish for the S&P 500. Bonds are kind of the last thing we have not looked at. This is the bond yield, US 10-year yield, going down, which is exactly what the US administration wants to see. This is what Trump would like to see. This is bullish for the US economy, right? Should be good for the US economy, should be healthy for the US economy. It is the interest rate which the US needs to repay its debt at. Okay, so the higher this thing goes, the more expensive the debt that the US needs to repay becomes. The lower this thing goes, the cheaper. Sipusiso says oil. Sure, we're gonna take another look at oil. The lower this thing goes, the better for the US that is, because then their debt becomes cheaper to repay. Okay, for sure they would like to see this chart hit these levels. They also want Powell to lower interest rates. You know, they want to see the Fed, the central bank, lower interest rates. Treasury yields rise slightly. Okay, maybe they did rise today, but overall they're in a downtrend. It's going down, so this is looking good actually. This is looking okay, looking nice. As long as it's trending lower, I think that is good. That is better than if we had a trend to the upside on the US 10-year yield. Oil is very volatile. Huge explosion up and then a massive retrace back down. This explosion had to do with Israel and Iran drama, okay? So Israel and Iran, because Iran is heavily connected with oil, so there was kind of a crisis, there was uncertainty behind, will there be a lot of oil production, will the production of oil lower, and then the price goes up because no one knows what's going to happen with Iran. Will Iran keep dealing with other countries? Will other countries continue buying oil from Iran? Explosion up and then ceasefire. Let's say China continues buying oil from Iran. Massive drop. So just huge V reversal. Can you trade this? I can't. I personally can't. I'm not that fast. My expertise is not scalping. It's not trading breaking news. My expertise is swing trading, watching the fundamentals, watching the macro situation, being patient, sitting on my hands, waiting for those high probability trades, high probability setups. This thing is very erratic, so very problematic to trade. You know, you need to be really fast to catch the move up and to catch the move down. Otherwise, if you're a swing trader, you know, you're watching this, one day you get an explosion up, then you're like, okay, what should I do? And then you get an explosion down. Very tough to trade as a swing trader. Extremely tied with geopolitics, okay, extremely tied to crisis, wars, US doing shady stuff, Russia doing shady stuff, Iran doing crazy stuff, Israel attacking Iran. So yeah, oil is extremely volatile. That's why it's extremely hard to trade. Probably the best traders for oil are scalpers, you know, the guys that have this on their screen for most of the day, financial juice news, market moving, and then they just have the voice news enabled, and then they're closely listening to that. As long as they hear something, you know, boom, they go and buy oil. They buy it here, they sell it probably somewhere there, you know. You need to be really fast, in my personal opinion. Macro forecast for oil. So what is my overall forecast for oil? I think we're going to be flat. Okay. I think we're going to be pretty flat inside of this range, inside of maybe this high and this low. If we don't get any macroeconomic developments, if we don't get any breaking news. So if we don't get a massive catalyst, if the war or the drama between Israel and Iran continues, you can definitely expect oil to be more volatile. But if that comes down and if there is no catalysts, no drama, I think we're going to be flat for now. So flat is my forecast. That wraps things up. Now you know exactly what I'm watching, what I'm not watching, what I'm trading, what I'm not trading. Thank you guys very much for watching the stream. If you want to get my daily forecasts for absolutely free, okay? So if you want to get my daily forecasts for free, make sure you join zentumtrading.com. It's here. Zentum Trading. I'll put the link in the description, but basically you can join for free. See, join the free Discord. And in there, you'll get free access to Zentum and you'll get my daily forecasts for free. So every day you'll be updated and you'll know exactly what I'm watching, what I'm not watching. Also, if you want to get updates of when I'm live streaming, my Instagram handle is Marcos Trading Journey. So make sure to follow me on Instagram. You can also take a look at the description of this video. All of my information is there. I post all of the updates about live streams on my Instagram. So make sure you give me a follow. Thank you for watching again. Take care. Good luck in the markets. And so far, you know, the summary of the stream is the US is doing great. The world is doing okay as well. Stocks are exploding. Major risk on environment. You know what risk on is. I think by now you should know what risk on is. So bullish for stocks, bullish for Bitcoin, could be bearish for gold, bearish for the dollar index, bearish for the Japanese yen index, bullish for European stock market. That's kind of it. Thank you. See you in the next one.